Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into a really impactful book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad for Teens.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Definitely. And this isn't just, another book about managing pocket money. It's really about shifting how young people think about wealth, about work, their whole financial future, and maybe us adults too.
Absolutely. Our mission here is to kind of distill the key wisdom
Yeah.
from Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lecter's work.
Give you the essentials,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Help you understand why that traditional advice we all heard might be, well, outdated now, and how a different approach, building financial intelligence, is crucial.
Prepare yourself, prepare your kids maybe for this world that's changing so fast.
That's the goal. It's about understanding the rules so money starts working for you, not the other way around.
Okay, so let's unpack that first big point. The book jumps right in, challenging that classic advice. Study hard, get good grades, find a safe, high-paying job.
Right, the standard path.
It sounds solid, but the book calls it potentially disastrous now. Why is that? What's changed?
Well, what's really interesting is the generational perspective. They argue, look, that advice, great for maybe our grandparents, people born before, say, 1945,
Okay.
but for people growing up today, it just doesn't hold up the same way. There's an example in the book, a mother, an accountant herself.
Right.
She sees her own son realizing that, hey, a big salary doesn't automatically mean security. It doesn't mean you won't drown in debt.
We see that all around us, don't we?
Totally. I mean, think about Bill Gates dropping out of Harvard or doctors.
Yeah.
They used to be the picture of financial stability. Now with insurance, managed care,
Hmm.
it's a totally different ballgame.
So the world changed, but the advice didn't quite keep up.
Pretty much. And that outdated advice often leads people straight into what the book calls the rat race.
Ah, yes, the rat race. Can you break that down for us? What does that really look like?
Yeah, it's that cycle. The average person, educated, works hard, gets what seems like a safe job,
Yep.
earns money, then gets credit cards, maybe buys a house, a car,
Hmm.
and suddenly they're working harder and harder.
But not really getting ahead.
Exactly. It's just to cover more taxes, the bigger mortgage, the car payments, all the consumer debt. You feel trapped, like you're on a treadmill.
Chasing a paycheck that never feels like enough?
Right. Sometimes people even go back to school, get more specialized, take on more debt, thinking that's the answer. But it often just feeds the cycle.
Because you're working for.
Well, the book argues you're mostly working for your employer, for the government through taxes, and for the bank through loans and mortgages, not really for yourself.
Hmm. That's a stark way to put it.
It is. And it makes you ask, if that's where this path often leads, what's the alternative? How do you get off the treadmill?
So that brings us to Rich Dad, right? Mike's father in the story. He offers this completely different worldview.
Totally different.
And Robert's first big lesson from him was, the poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. How did Rich Dad even start teaching that to a couple of kids? 9 years old.
Yeah, his methods were definitely unconventional. He had Robert and his friend Mike work in one of his stores
Mm-hmm.
for 10 cents an hour.
Okay, seems low, but...
But then he cuts their pay to zero. Nothing.
Wait, nothing. Why would he do that? Sounds like exploitation.
Huh. It does. But it wasn't about that. It was a deliberate strategy to spark something in them, to make them think, to get them angry maybe, but definitely thinking.
Thinking about how to make money without a wage.
Exactly. There's that funny story where they try counterfeiting nickels out of lead.
Yeah, I remember that. Obviously illegal.
Obviously. But Rich Dad's reaction wasn't just that's illegal. He saw the creativity, the initiative. He encouraged that kind of thinking, even if the first attempt was misguided.
So, working for nothing.
Wow.
What was the actual takeaway? How did that teach them about money working for them?
It forced them, like you said, to use their heads, to look around, see needs, find opportunities. It wasn't about the hourly wage anymore.
And that led to the comic book library.
That was their first real breakthrough. They saw an opportunity, created a system, the library, and here's the key part. It made them money, even when they weren't physically there.
So the money or the system was working for them.
Precisely. That was the lesson in action. And it also kind of subtly introduced this idea that money itself is, well, maybe an illusion to some extent.
How so?
Like, it's based on collective belief, on trust in this system, especially back then with talking about the gold standard ending. The real power wasn't just having coins, it was understanding how the whole financial game worked.
Which leads perfectly into the next big lesson, financial literacy. The book stresses it's not just about how much you make.
Right, that's only part of it. It's how much you keep, and crucially, what you do with what you keep.
So what's the fundamental rule Rich Dad hammered home here?
It sounds almost too simple.
Mhm.
Know the difference between an asset and a liability, and
Mhm.
then buy assets.
Okay. Define those terms as Rich Dad did.
Super simple. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket.
That's it. Assets in, liabilities out.
That's the core. It seems basic, right? But so many adults miss this. Or they think they know it, but their actions show otherwise. Maybe because it challenges what we're always told.
Like the idea that your house is your biggest asset.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
big one this definition challenges. Rich Dad argues, for most people, your primary residence, it's actually a liability.
Ooh, controversial. Why?
Because think about the cash flow. Does it put money in your pocket each month? Or does it take money out?
Well, mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, upkeep, it definitely takes money out.
Bingo. Plus, there's the opportunity cost. The money tied up in the house could potentially be earning more elsewhere. The book shows these cash flow diagrams.
Yeah, those are clear.
The poor and middle class tend to acquire liabilities, cars, boats, even houses they live in, often thinking they're assets, while the rich focus on acquiring true income-generating assets.
Like what?
Things like stocks that pay dividends, bonds, income-producing real estate, like rental properties notes you hold, businesses that run without you needing to be there constantly.
Things that generate cash flow.
That's the key. Without that financial intelligence, understanding this difference, even a lot of money can just vanish.
Okay, so understand assets and liabilities, buy assets. Then comes lesson 3, mind your own business. What does that mean beyond just, not meddling?
Yeah, it's not about gossip. It means focus on building your asset column. Your job, your profession, that's important for income, but your business is your assets.
Got it. So your job pays the bills, maybe, but your business makes you wealthy.
That's the idea. The book uses Ray Kroc, the McDonald's guy, as a prime example.
Right. He didn't say he was in the hamburger
He
business.
said he was in the real estate business. His profession, sure, selling hamburger franchises.
Oh,
But his business, where he built long-term wealth, was accumulating the valuable land those franchises sat on.
that's a powerful distinction. Profession versus business.
Huge. Your profession often makes your boss or the company owner rich. Your business, your asset column, that's what makes you rich.
So what kinds of assets should you be focusing on acquiring for your business?
Again, it comes back to things that put money in your pocket without you having to actively trade your time for it constantly. Businesses you own, but don't have to run day to day.
Okay.
Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, income-generating real estate, notes, intellectual property like royalties from books or music.
Things that work for you.
Yeah, think of each dollar in your asset column as an employee working 24/7 to make more money. And another key point here,
Yeah.
the rich tend to buy luxuries last.
Oh, so.
They use the income generated by their assets to buy the fancy car or the big trip. The poor and middle class often buy luxuries first, often using debt, which just digs them deeper into the liability hole.
Let your assets buy the luxuries. That makes sense. It sounds like the rich are playing a completely different game, especially with taxes. How does that work?
They really are, and understanding corporations is key here. The book gives a quick history of taxes. Initially, income taxes in the U.S., for example, were aimed at the rich. But over time, through politics and persuasion, the whole Robin Hood idea, they became permanent and expanded to hit the middle class and the poor too.
So the burden shifted.
It did. But the rich found a way to, let's say, legally minimize that burden through corporations.
How does a corporation help with taxes?
Well, a corporation is a legal entity. It can own assets. And critically, it gets to spend money first on expenses before it pays taxes on what's left as profit.
Unlike an individual employee who gets taxed first, then spends what's left.
Exactly. Huge difference. Plus, corporations offer legal protection. If the business gets sued, your personal assets are generally protected. It's a shield.
So it's not just about earning more, it's about understanding these structures, these rules.
Precisely. This all feeds into what the book calls financial IQ. It's not just one thing. It's like a combination of skills.
Okay, what are the components?
4 main areas. 1, accounting. Financial literacy, being able to read numbers, understand a financial statement.
Makes sense.
2, investing. The science of making money make more money. Strategies, risk assessment.
Crucial.
3, understanding markets. Supply and demand, yes, but also the psychology of markets. Knowing when fear or greed is driving prices, like that Tickle Me Elmo craze example they used, not just fundamentals.
Right, market sentiment.
And 4, law. Knowing how to use legal structures, like corporations or trusts, for advantages in taxes and for asset protection.
Wow. So it's a blend of knowledge.
Yeah, it's the synergy of those four that allows for really explosive growth, the kind individuals working solely for a paycheck often miss.
Okay, then there's lesson 5. The rich invent money. That sounds, well, intriguing. What does invent money mean here?
It's not about counterfeiting. It's about creativity, seeing opportunities others miss, and having the courage to act.
Like finding value where others don't.
Exactly. The
Oh.
story of Alexander Graham Bell is a great illustration. He invented the telephone, right?
Hmm.
Offered the patent to Western Union for $100,000.
Which seems like a steal now.
Right. But Western Union thought it was a ridiculous toy. They scoffed. They couldn't see the opportunity. Bell, in a sense, invented value they couldn't perceive.
So financial genius needs both the knowledge and the guts.
That's the core message. You need the technical skills, the financial IQ components we just talked about, but you also need courage. The book says self-doubt and fear, especially the fear of losing, are the biggest things holding people back.
Fear paralyzes you from seeing or acting on opportunities.
Absolutely. It's about developing options, embracing change instead of fearing it. The world's wealth isn't just tied to land and factories anymore. It's increasingly about information.
And adapting to that shift.
Yes, those who build their financial IQ welcome change. They adapt. They find the new opportunities. Those stuck in old ways of thinking, they'll likely struggle more. The cash flow game they created was designed exactly for this, to simulate choices, give feedback, help you practice finding ways out of the rat race.
So if working just for a paycheck isn't the main goal, what should the focus be, especially early in a career? This is lesson 6.
The advice is powerful. Work to learn. Don't work for money.
Okay, explain that. Isn't the point of working to get paid?
In the short term, yes. But the long-term focus should be on acquiring skills, not just chasing the highest salary right now.
Skills that build your financial IQ.
Skills that build your overall capability, yes.
Hmm.
There's that story about the talented writer, a newspaper reporter,
Yeah, who got offended.
got offended when it was suggested she learn sales skills. She was a great writer, but didn't understand that selling her ideas, selling herself was also crucial for success.
So many talented people might under-earn because they lack key complementary skills.
That's the argument. Maybe they're brilliant technically, but can't communicate, negotiate, or lead.
So beyond your main job skill, what are the most important skills to pick up?
The book highlights management skills, managing cash flow, managing systems, which includes managing yourself and your time, and managing people.
Okay, the 3 M's of management.
Pretty much. And then, crucially, communication skills, writing, speaking, negotiating. And especially, they emphasize sales and marketing. Understanding how to sell is vital, whether you're selling a product, a service, or yourself in an interview.
These are like foundational skills for success in almost anything.
Exactly. They call them base skills of personal success. The idea is, don't become so specialized that you're vulnerable if your industry changes. Like a pilot whose skills aren't easily transferable. A broader skill set gives you more options, more freedom.
Interesting. And it also mentions giving.
Yeah, the principle of teach and you shall receive. The idea that the more you give, whether it's knowledge, time, or even money charitably, the more seems to come back to you. Sharing expertise helps you learn it better yourself.
Okay, so we have these 6 lessons. It sounds like a roadmap, but the
Detail.
book also says, hey, even if you know this stuff, people hit roadblocks. What stops them?
Yeah, knowing isn't always doing right. They identify 5 key obstacles.
Let's run through them.
Okay, first is fear. Specifically, the fear of losing money. It's natural, but it can be paralyzing.
What's the antidote?
Rich Dad's advice is that winners aren't afraid to lose. They learn from losses. If you hate risk, the advice is simple. Start early. Let compound do the heavy lifting. Also, think about focused investing versus balanced playing to win versus playing not to lose.
Okay, fear. What's next?
Second, cynicism. That little voice of doubt, the what-ifs, the negativity, oh, that'll never work, that sounds too risky.
The inner critic.
Exactly. Cynics criticize, winners analyze. You need to push past the doubt and actually look at opportunities, analyze them, even the ones others dismiss, like the fixing toilets example in real estate.
Got it. Overcome fear, overcome cynicism. Number 3.
Laziness. But it's often disguised. Not just sitting on the couch, but being too busy doing unproductive things. Or the mental laziness of saying, I can't afford it,
How does I can't afford it represent laziness?
because it shuts your brain down. Asking, how can I afford it? Opens your mind, forces you to think, to find solutions. The book even controversially suggests a little greed, wanting a better life, can cure this kind of laziness.
Interesting take. Okay, 4th obstacle.
Bad habits. Financial habits, specifically. like spending everything you earn or paying bills before saving or investing.
What's the key habit to change?
The absolute most important habit is pay yourself first. Before you pay rent, the credit card, anything, allocate money to your asset column.
Isn't that hard? What if there isn't enough left for bills?
That's the point. It creates pressure,
Hmm.
healthy pressure. It forces you to be more creative about generating income, to cut unnecessary expenses. It builds financial discipline and avoid consumer debt like the plague.
Builds financial muscle.
Oh,
Okay, and the last obstacle.
Number 5 is arrogance, which the book defines as ego plus ignorance, thinking you know it all or that what you don't know isn't important.
Like being resistant to learning new financial concepts.
Exactly. Or refusing to listen to experts because you think you know better. The cure is humility. Be willing to learn, seek out knowledgeable advisors, read books, take seminars, never stop learning.
Fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, arrogance.
Yeah.
Those are definitely significant hurdles. So for someone listening now, feeling motivated, what are the first concrete steps?
The book lays out 10 action steps.
Yeah.
We won't detail all 10, but let's hit some highlights.
Please.
First, find a reason greater than reality. What are your deep wants and don't wants? What really drives you emotionally? That motivation is crucial.
Makes sense. You need a strong why.
Second, choose daily. Every day, you choose what to do with your time, your money, and what you put into your head. Choose learning, choose action.
Active choices.
Third, echoing the habit point, pay yourself first. Non-negotiable, build that discipline.
Okay.
Fourth, pay your advisors well. Good brokers, accountants, lawyers, they're assets. Their advice saves you time and makes you money. Don't cheap out on expertise.
Good point. Value information.
Fifth, be an Indian giver. Now, that term is outdated and sensitive, but the concept Rich Dad meant was aim to get your initial investment back quickly from an asset. Once you have your seed money back, the asset is essentially playing with house money, generating profit with zero risk to your original capital, like selling some stock to recoup your cost or refinancing a property.
Get your capital back, let the profits run.
Sort of, yeah. And sixth, related to the luxury point, let assets buy luxuries. Want that dream car. Build an asset that generates enough income to pay for it. Don't use savings or credit.
Discipline again.
Absolutely. And finally, find heroes. Study successful investors. Buffett, Lynch, whoever resonates. Learn how they think and teach. Share what you learn. It reinforces your own understanding.
That's a really practical list. It feels very active, very hands-on. Is there one final example from the book that really drives home how this can work in the real world?
Yes, the epilogue has a fantastic one. A friend wanted to fund his kid's college. He started with just $7,000.
Okay, that's accessible for many.
Right. He used it to buy a small piece of real estate, using a type of loan that didn't need traditional bank approval. That property started generating cash flow immediately.
Putting money in his pocket. Asset.
Exactly. Then, through smart moves selling at the right time, using a 1031 exchange to defer taxes, reinvesting profits into bigger income-producing assets like a mini storage facility.
Snowballing it.
Precisely. That initial $7,000 grew into hundreds of thousands within just a few years. It fully funded the college education and helped secure retirement.
Wow. From $7 K. That really shows it's possible.
It demonstrates the power of financial intelligence in action.
Yeah.
It shows that, yeah, it takes only a few dollars to start and grow it into something big if you know the rules and apply them.
Incredible.
And it loops back to that core idea. Money is only an idea. It's not just about the physical cash. It's about your knowledge, your mindset, your creativity. What's in your head determines what's in your hands.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you listening right now? The message from Rich Dad, Poor Dad for Teens is loud and clear, isn't it?
It really is.
Learn how to make money work hard for you. Stop just working hard for money. Don't just play it safe with outdated rules. Play it smart with the rules of today's world.
Take charge of your own financial education. Nobody else will do it for you.
Absolutely. Take responsibility. And maybe, most importantly, share this knowledge. Talk about it with your family, your kids, your friends. Your financial future and theirs really hinges on the choices, the actions you take starting now.
So the question is, what action will you take next?